If you want to know everything there is to know about garters and so much more, you are in for such a treat today. I'm so excited to bring you another episode of Interviews with Experts. So welcome back. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Jen Vazquez. I'm a wedding photographer and I help the adventurous, fun, and playful couples capture the life of their wedding while they celebrate the wedding of their life. If all things wedding is your cup of tea, then definitely subscribe below and hit that little bell so that you can get notified every time a new video is released. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with someone who I've worked with on a styled shoot years ago. And I love not only her products, which are custom and unique and memory making, but she's a doll and she really wants to serve people and help couples that are getting married. So she's got a lot of information. So I'm excited to bring you Julianne Smith of the Garter Girl. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm so excited that I got you on here. We've been talking about this for at least a few years, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So the Garter Girl makes custom garters that can be handed down for generations, creating a tradition. Think using some of your mother's wedding dress to make a garter that you can wear and honor her without wearing her dress and being able to wear your own dress. In 2004, Julianne founded the Garter Girl with one simple mission: to design and hand create wedding heirloom as stylish as you are. An heirloom so special that you will want to save it for your daughter. They have a simple 3-part philosophy. I love this. It's so unique to everything out there in the industry. And that is a foundation for everything that they do. The Garter Girl believes in exceeding your expectations, believes that heirloom quality lasts for generations, and that your style is the only thing that really matters. She can be found online at thegartergirl.com and at the Garter Girl on social media. I will put all of that information below so that you don't have to worry about getting all of it. So I have like 8 billion questions for you.
I love it.
I've narrowed them down so we don't have like a crazy long recording of this, but I feel like it's important. It's something traditional that some brides are like getting rid of, and yet if you think about it, it's a thing that you can literally pass down generation after generation, and you don't even have to maybe even throw the garter. So I'm going to ask you all these questions, but feel free to jump in,
yeah, of course,
on anything else as we're going through this, because you're the expert. So number one, explain how you got started and why you started this business.
It's so crazy, isn't it? People always say, really? That's what you do? So yes, my name is Julie and I own the Garter Girl. And I started the business back in 2004 when I could not find a garter for my best friend, Brooke, who was getting married. And she had a bunch of bridesmaids and each one of us had a job. My job was the garter. And Brooke is, if you know her, she's super stylish, very sort of, she knows what she likes. She kind of really knows, she's like really tuned in, always has been, with her personal style. And each one of us who was a bridesmaid had different things that we needed to get. And mine was the garter. And I was like, okie dokie, let's make it happen. And I could not find a garter that was worthy of Brooke, truly. I mean, that's how it started. And I made it myself. And at the time, a friend of mine owned a wedding dress shop, and she was helping me try to find one. And she said, well, I don't really carry them because I mean, we just don't have any, that we can't find any that brides are really interested in. I said, well, I'll just make it myself. And she said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You're going to make it? And I said, well, no, I'll figure it out. So she said, well, if you make more, then I'll sell them. And so she did.
Built-in business, for real.
Yeah. No, it was never anything that I woke up and said, you know, I'm gonna make some wedding garters today. It was truly like I couldn't find anything that was worthy of my friend that looked like anything she would actually wear. Right. And
So
so I knew this was something that she wanted. She was one of those people that just like loved being a bride. And I'm like, this was, also too before Etsy, or really sort of there was an easy place to kind of really go and find handmade things. And but I mean, hey, I'm on Etsy too. So, and excuse me, there's really nobody that even does what I do anywhere. And so again, it was like, even if there was Etsy, I don't know that I would find anything that was worthy of and looked like something she would wear, let alone love. And you were
and
right in your
last,
intro.
probably,
Yeah. Oh,
and last.
totally. Yes. Oh, of course.
Some of the
And
stuff is so cheaply made,
yes,
shall we
it's
say.
not well made. So yeah, no, everything that I do is handmade, and yeah, I try to make it so that it'll last the entire wedding day, walking, dancing, jumping, the whole bit, and then that you can, have it and save it as something special to keep forever and to pass down. And it's something small and little, so it's easy to save, it's easy to keep. And
Yeah,
as you were kind of talking in your intro, yes. So the way I look at it is there's sort of two aspects, right? There's the wedding garter toss, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard about. It's up there with sort of the bouquet toss and all the sort of wedding traditions, right? The dollar dance, if you have that in your area. Um, what are some of the other ones? The cake cutting, the smashing in the
yeah.
face. There's all kinds of different wedding traditions depending on, they tend to be more regional or cultural. And but majority of my clients do not do the garter toss. So they get the garter as something special for them to have and to keep and to love, and something special for them to have. It's not something to throw or toss. So,
Yeah, and like you can slip it in your wedding album. Like it's not something that's
yeah,
going to take up a bunch of space.
no,
And you don't know, like if you don't want to do the garter toss, great, don't do it. Like I'm all for doing exactly what you want in your wedding, but it does add to the style. And your daughter, if you choose to have children, may want to do a garter toss. And then here you have this beautiful heirloom that you can just sort of pass down generation after generation.
yeah,
Um,
it's just something little special. Not all, but a lot of clients. I've got a whole stack of them over here. Most of them will send me their mother's wedding dress, their grandmother's veil, and so on, and all these different special materials. And it's like, well, I don't want to wear my mom's wedding dress. What do I do with it?
what a
Turn
gorgeous
it into a
idea.
garter. So
You know,
that
one,
is not all of what I do, but it's a
yeah,
bulk of it.
one question that I know that we'll get, and so I'm going to ask it right now,
Sure.
is it- does how much material do you need from your mom's dress? In other words, let's say you have a sister who may want to wear mom's dress, but
Sure.
you want to have a piece of mom's dress like on you for your wedding day. That's
Hmm.
the something old and something new if it's made, right?
Right.
So like, is that possible to not like destroy the dress? Like, how would you go about doing that?
Sure. Yeah. And you guys out there listening, it's I get this question all the time. I think people think that it takes gobs and gobs and gobs of fabric, but it's really, I mean, we're talking a couple inches here. And so I use as much or as little as you want to use. And people will tell me all the time, they'll say, oh, yeah, you're right. My sister does want to wear this, or I can't bear cutting this, but I'm willing to part with sort of this section or this part.
Yeah.
Please don't, destroy it. And so, and I always take care. I mean, I would not just cut from the front when the bottom back part would do
Yeah.
just the same, or the sort of part where no one would really see. I'm not going to cut like right at sort of the bodice or the neckline when I don't have to. And so, but really it's a small piece, and it's a very small part. And sometimes people will just send me like a little piece or a little earring that they found one and they didn't know what to do with it, or
Ah,
um
I didn't
you
even
know
think of that embellishments. I didn't even
yeah,
think of
just
that.
little, like a lot of veils, a lot of just whatever they have. I mean, I've kind of at this point done it all. But it just depends on how much you have and how much you're willing to part with.
you could even use your mom's potentially garter
I do a
as
lot of garter
accent
repair.
parts, or
Yeah,
either repair or have accents on, if you're okay to have it cut up, to use as accents on a new one too.
I've done that too. I've taken them apart and redone them. I have a lot of what I'll do is just replace the elastic and kind of give it
Oh.
some new life. I don't know what they were doing back in the day, but those brides were a lot smaller than we are today.
Yeah, let me tell
Like come
you.
in these like little tiny. I'm like, your mom looks like a normal person today.
Was
And
it
it's
a
like,
bracelet or
I don't know what she was thinking or doing, especially, and also too when it's the grandmothers. It's like, I mean, was she like a little mouse? Like what, you know? So
that's funny.
yes, I do a lot of garter repair on, and because there's a lot of families that have them already. They have the
Yeah,
family heirloom. But over time the elastic does wear out, or they were super tiny. So we can make adjustments as needed.
perfect. How did you come up with the name The Garter Girl? It is like so perfect and yet simple, but like explains what you do in just a few, like it's perfect. How did you even come
Oh,
up with
thank
that?
you. Truly, so when I first started, my business was just my name, Julianne Smith. And I, let's see, I was getting a Twitter account back in 2009.
No way.
And no, this is a true story. And every version of Julianne Smith or Julie Smith or J Smith or Smith Julianne, it was already taken at that point.
Oh,
And I don't know, I think I was watching too much Gossip Girl, if you know that show.
yeah.
And this is when it was still on the air, not the recordings. And
Yes.
so I did not think. I truly was sitting at my computer trying to come up with a Twitter handle when I discovered that all versions of my name were taken. And I just went with Garter Girl. Truly. And then it was maybe a few years after that when I had some friends in the industry. They said, wait a minute, your business name isn't Garter Girl? And I said, no, it's just my Twitter handle. And truly, I mean, again, this was before Instagram
That's
and all the
funny.
things. And even my Facebook page at that time was Julianne Smith Wedding Garters. And
Wow.
I said it was like they had an intervention. They were like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You better lock that name down. And at the time I was going through a branding, picking fonts and things for my business.
Perfect
And
timing.
I know, I literally came home and I called the girl and I said, business name change. We're going with the Garter Girl. And then I went to my husband, who's an attorney, and I was like, you gotta figure out how to trademark this thing.
Yes.
And I applied
Yes.
for the trademark the next day. And then I tried to get the website. And at the time, the only thing that was available was thegartergirl.com, but my Twitter handle was already Garter Girl. But then a few years later, I ended up getting gartergirl.com for $300. They sold it to
Ooh,
me.
that's good.
I know, best money I ever spent.
Yeah, for sure. And your website, just in case you are a couple getting married, her website is not just like logical. I don't know how else to say this. But when you go there, you can see exactly what you need and you can get whatever information you need and you don't have to click a billion buttons. And she has the most wonderful wedding planning advice on there. So I highly recommend you check it out.
Yes.
Okay.
I like to try to keep it helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So are there certain style dresses that you have a hard time like making a garter for, or what about like the wedding dresses that are cut like way up to the almost the waist, and like are there any struggles with doing a garter depending on the style of the dress?
No, I mean, the only struggle I would say would be people's feelings about their own self. And
Oh yeah.
so what I always do, so everything's handmade by me. And my tagline, if you will, is the only size that I have is yours, because
I
everything
know.
is
Love
made
it.
just for you. So when you purchase it, that's yours. I do have, a sale and things like that where things are pre-made and the size is listed, but 90% of what I do throughout the year is custom made for each person.
That's
And
amazing.
so it's really more about personal sizing. And when something is, and your listeners know this too, and this being a photographer, when you get a wedding dress and that thing is, I don't care where you buy it, but no matter how much you spend on it, when it is altered to fit you, it's such a different experience than when you're going into a store. I don't care, Target, J. Crew,
Yes.
Neiman Marcus, whatever, when you're buying the clothes off the
rack.
rack
Mm-hmm.
versus buying a dress and having it altered to fit you. Right. And so that's kind of what I do with the Garter. When something is made for you, sizing is like not an issue. There is no small, medium, or large. Oh my gosh, it's going to fit me. So like I said, the only size that I carry is the size of your listener. So when you order, that's when I get to work. And so my challenges come from people say, well, I'm too big, or I don't like the way my legs look, etc. And so that's why I try to be size inclusive to the point where I kind of don't even talk about it because it's like not an issue for me.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like I literally noticed the words that you said, the only size is your size. Like that is so wonderful in today's society.
Yeah, it's not cheesy. And again, it was like kind of with my business name. It wasn't something that I sit down and was like, let's come up with
Marketing
this
wise,
fun tagline.
yeah,
It was just like,
yeah.
what sizes? I'm like, I don't have sizes. What size are you? What do you need? What do you want?
I'll make it.
And how do you, and again, in this like Amazon world where it's like a must have it now, need it now, need it now, those of us that are in the handmade business, it's a challenge. But I think to sort of give people's I want it now, I need it now, oh my God, my wedding is next week kind of mentality. And so how do you do that in a handmade world? So that's been something that, has been really interesting and challenging for me to figure out over the years. And I think that I've managed to bridge the gap between handmade and, prime shipping.
Well, and you're also very much, and it comes across in, well, just talking to you, but your website as well. You're very much into serving people, helping people rather than selling things. Like it is very custom in the manner of how can I help you? Not the masses, but you. I love that. I know you go ahead.
No, I don't know if he has since passed away, but I really resonated with the guy who started Zappos, the shoe company.
Oh, yes.
So he said, we're not a shoe company, we're a customer service company. And when you have that mindset, it makes everything different. I mean, I get all kinds of questions all day long. It's hysterical. I just have one in my inbox right now. When should I hire my day of wedding coordinator? Or when should I begin the research for that? And, I'm happy to answer those questions, right? It's the first time you've ever doing it. It's the first time, hopefully.
Yep.
And it's overwhelming. There's a lot.
Especially during this time in our lives. It's extraordinarily overwhelming with changing wedding dates and things like that.
Well,
I know, go ahead.
No, I'm just people like you have a life to live. You have a job to do. The last thing you need to be doing is, answering, trying to get to the end of Pinterest and back to see if there's like one more wedding dress because you're not sure.
It's analysis paralysis oftentimes.
Yes, and I am someone who struggles with that personally. It's just making decisions.
I know that you have 3 darling kids. How do you run this business, especially because it's custom? So it is more labor intensive than sort of on an assembly line, right? How do you run a business with kids?
Who knows? Just make it work. I don't know.
I at one point we had been talking and you were taking the summer to go spend with your family. And I thought, now that's like a business owner that knows what's most important. And yet you still serve your clients. Like that is very admirable.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I try to make it all work. I try to be, try to do all the things, and I don't do custom orders typically in the summer.
Yeah,
So if your wedding is happening in June, July, and August, I will try to get to you before,
yeah,
or we can pause it till afterwards. And then typically the summer is when I do my biggest sale. So everything is pre-made for the summer. So I just kind of
yeah.
I bring it all with me, and then I ship from wherever I
Where you
am.
are. Yeah.
And I have had a lot of business advisors that have told me, "Oh man, that's horrible. You shouldn't do that. It's your busy time of year. It's bad." And for me, I'm
With
just
your family.
I
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of what my family needs, and we just make it work. Like I said, it's kind of like it's taken me a lot of years to get to this point, right? I've tried everything, right? And
Yeah.
some years I would bring all my stuff with me and I would just pray to God no one would order. And then sometimes I would bring it all with me, or sometimes one summer I tried to come home 1 week a month. That
Oh
was a disaster.
no.
Um,
Yeah.
I've done all the things, and then the last 3 summers, yeah, 3 summers, I'm just like, that's it. We're just going to shut the business down, and I'm going to ship.
Well, and people can order ahead of time or work with you after. Like you're
Yeah.
right. Like it is your business. And I'm always talking with business owners. It's your business.
Hmm.
Make it work for you and you will enjoy your job a whole lot more.
Yeah. It makes
Uh,
my September crazy and it makes my May crazy. But it's worth it to kind of take a pause. And it's a chance for me to um, have a sale for people that have had their eye on certain things, and they have, you know, certainly it's not cheap to have me. It's not like outrageous, but it's,
no,
not
yeah,
cheap for people to have somebody hand make something from your mother's wedding
of
dress. And so
course.
I have a lot of clients that have had their eye on something, and maybe I'm not in their budget, but they know and they can rely on my annual sale in the summer that they,
It's good for you and it's good for them.
yes, I always,
A
it'll get to the
win-win.
point like, yeah, like, what about this? And do you offer discounts? And I always tell everybody, you got the summer sale, keep your eye out. And it happens. And, every year, as soon as it goes live, June, I usually typically will do, depending on how the dates shake out, it's
Yeah.
usually June 1 to September 1. And it's like June 1 at midnight, like the orders start rolling in because they've been waiting.
Oh my gosh. That's a great way of looking at things from outside the box and
Hmm.
again, make doing what works for you and for your business and for your
Hmm.
clients, right? It's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
If your daughter was a bride and getting married, which design of yours would you recommend to her?
Oh my God. Um, wow. I've been asked a
I love
lot
the
of
hard
questions
question.
lately, but I've never had that one. I don't know. I think she's still trying to just figure it out for herself out. Some days I'm like, what are you wearing? I don't know. She loves color. So
Do you
I would
think
say
that she
anything
would
color.
want to use maybe parts of your wedding dress for hers? Or like, do you know yet? Like one of my daughters wants to wear my dress, and then my daughter who got married had her own dress and then just wore my dress dancing with her dad
Okay,
on the
now
dance
that's
floor.
so
So,
sweet.
there's everyone has different personalities, but I mean, I'm just assuming you're going to make her garter.
I hope so. But I'll tell you what, I think about this question all the time when people, like I said, I'm looking at the stack over there, when they send me their wedding dresses, like, I don't know. I'm like, because my dress was all lace. I'm like, it would be perfect to use. Just like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah,
Certainly at that point, you know,
you'll figure it out at that.
whatever she wanted to do.
You'll
Um, but
you'll
yeah, no, I hadn't really thought about what she would wear, but probably something. So what I d- so you were asking, like, I have 3 different collections. There's the custom, which is made from the family materials. And then I have a collection where people can just, it's pre-designed. People just buy it and I ship it to them. And those tend to be a little more neutral, right? Like it's the ivories, it's the blues, it's not a lot of color. And so for her, she's like super into color. So I could see her doing something there and then, customizing that with
We,
color. Does that make
the
sense?
one that we used on the bridal shoot that you kindly sent to us to use years
Yeah.
ago was burgundy
Yeah.
satin with burgundy lace with a like an
Yeah.
interwoven. It was beautiful and so unique, and of course, so perfect
People
for
went
our shoot.
crazy. I posted that picture not that long ago on my Instagram that you took, and like
It's
it was
big.
one of my most popular images. And like all these comments, oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. What have you been hiding this? I'm
It
like,
just it stands out from the typical garters, right? I think it's unique. And I think
yeah.
that's so lovely that you do that. And that burgundy wine-ish color is really hot right now.
Oh, I think it's so big.
Yeah. So
It's
if you're,
huge.
you're a bride out there, make sure you contact her right away.
Yeah,
Um,
like I think it's where like sort of the neutrals were really big. And
yes.
I think neutrals are kind of on their way out, but the path to neutral has been like this blush and burgundy. And
Yes.
that's kind of where we're moving from the blush and the neutrals. But I think the blush and burgundy has been the gateway
Yeah, for sure.
to these like more rich jewel tones.
I think it's just fun to do something unique and different. Like you
Sure.
don't have, and this, if there's one piece of message that I'm going to give to everyone out there is do you. Like
Yes.
whatever you feel, even if grandma or mom says, "Oh, you can't do it that way. You have to do it this way." It is your wedding. Even if they're paying for it, which I don't even know if that goes on very much these days anymore, but it happens. And a garter is a place where you can literally do whatever you want and nobody has to know. So have fun with
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
Okay, where exactly I've gotten this question a lot, and I refer people to your website all the time when I
Thank
get it.
you.
Where exactly should a garter be worn on the leg, and which leg?
Okay. So which leg doesn't matter. Left, right, doesn't
Oh, okay.
matter.
I thought there was a specific side. I didn't know.
No, there's not. It doesn't matter. There's no
Cool.
superstition, nothing like that. And it's just whatever comes natural to you. And then for placement, I recommend just above the knee. I think this gets back to the size in question. And I think sometimes people think that they have to wear it up so high. And no,
That's
thank
okay.
you.
We can pause. No big deal.
That's okay.
I'll edit it.
Okay, I'll be right down. Okay.
I'll edit it. Don't even worry
No,
about it.
I mean, you were asking
I
how
had
you
my
run a
dog
business.
barking in the background, so
That's all right. So I've got 3 and they're all in virtual school.
Oh gosh, I know. Oh, I'm just happy my kids are grown right now during these days. I have to tell you, it's
Yes.
insane.
So yes, that was my kindergartner telling me that he's done. Okay.
Um,
So
yeah.
getting back
So
to
any
it.
leg, which is crazy. For whatever reason, I always thought there was a tradition, but I guess there's
No,
not. That's
there's
cool.
not. And then as far as placement, I always recommend that you wear it just above your knee. I don't know if it's like too much imagery or what, but there's this perception that you just have to wear it like so high up.
Yeah.
And yeah, no. So first of all, when
And
you
it's
wear
more
it super
comfortable, I would imagine. If
high
it's
up or low
no
down.
lower would
Yes,
be
yes,
way more comfortable than like when I
yes,
wore it, it was like rubbing between my thighs. That was not
yes.
comfortable.
No, no, not at all. So you want to, yes, so there's a lot of reasons. One, you want to wear it down low because it will not rub against you. I don't care how small you are. Like it's not
Yeah.
going to rub on the other leg. And it's just kind of like sort of more comfortable, and it doesn't need to be as big, the elastic part, because it's like the narrowest part of your leg. And then well, if you are going to do the garter toss, then it's down a little lower.
Yeah. So if you have two garters, one that you're gonna throw and
Mhm,
then and one that you keep. I see this
mhm.
a lot with my brides. How is that done?
So typically you'd wear your main garter above, and then just below it, you put on the tossing garter. So you put the main garter on first, then your tossing garter. And then when your partner takes off, the garter, the tossing garter should be the first one that they get to.
Yeah. I did that and my husband still got the wrong garter off. He took off both and was going to be throwing both. So he ruined it for me at that moment. But life happens. But that's perfect.
That's all
Okay.
right.
How should you care for one of your heirloom garters?
Good question. So if it's super, just kind of gross, I would let it air dry and dab it with water, or just kind of let it, but basically just let it air dry as much as possible. If you want, you can soak it in cold water and then again, let it air dry. And then once it's completely dry, so if you buy from me, I include a cotton bag that I want you to put it inside of. And then you can save it in there. If you did not buy from me, you can just wrap it in cotton or even paper, like tissue paper,
Yeah.
just sort of anything. It's funny, all these moms and brides send me their wedding dresses, and man, I've gotten them in trash bags. I've gotten them in those, all kinds of,
Yes.
all
Yes.
kinds of
The
things.
dry cleaning bag, which is the worst place you should have your wedding dress. Yeah. Not the
Oh,
box that's
I'm
sealed.
talking like
I'm talking about that
the
clear
garbage
plastic.
bag.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And um, does the tissue paper or your bag in that situation help to keep it from fading? Because I know that like my mom's wedding dress was like yellowed a bit.
There's not much you can really do about
Okay.
fading. What the cotton or the paper will do is absorb if there's any oils or anything in it.
Got it. Got it.
And it just kind of allows it to breathe. So think about,
Perfect.
if it's wrapped in plastic, your clothes or the fabric kind of can't really breathe.
Oh, got it.
So yeah, it's like if you go to the dry cleaner, if you open up my husband's side of the closet, it's just like all the bags. I'm like, can we ask them? Do they have to do the plastic? So, but so yeah, you don't want to put it in any kind of plastic, your wedding dress or anything that you want to try to save. There's not really much you can do. If it has really turned yellow and you do want to use it, if you soak it or wash it, like some of that yellowness will go away.
Oh.
It'll kind of be dulled a little bit, but again, there's not really that much you can do.
What is one tip that you recommend for our brides or couples out there? I know
I
it's
think
big. It's a big question.
I know it's a big one. I think it's kind of what you've been saying all along, and what we as a wedding industry have been saying, and that's do you. Just everything. And that's amazing. There should be no, pressure to have to do it this way or have to do it that way, and just kind of eliminate the word should
Yeah,
from all wedding decisions.
I think
Just
that's
eliminate.
brilliant. Thank you so much, my friend, for
Yes.
your time, because I know
Yes.
that time is valuable. And I know that my couples and future couples will definitely appreciate getting this information.
Yes.
I've got a couple more questions for you. Number
Okay,
one, what is
great.
the best way that somebody could purchase a custom garter from you?
Oh, so we can go to my website, thegartergirl.com or gartergirl.com, or I'm on Instagram at gartergirl. That's it. Just at gartergirl. I don't even use my Twitter account anymore, which was like the start of it all.
So funny. I definitely advise brides, go check out her website. It has
Oh, thank
really
you.
good, juicy bits, juicy
Yes.
information. Do you maybe have something free for our couples that
Oh,
you
right. Okay. So yes, I do. So you kind of alluded to this. So I talk all things wedding planning advice on my blog, not just Garter stuff. Um, and so I've got a lot of freebies there, but my favorite one, it's called the Ultimate Bridal Fashion Timeline, and it tells you what to order when, so you don't miss out. I get a lot of these questions. When
So
should I
good.
order my dress? What should I do? I don't know. What about my veil? When should I get my garter? All the things. And so I have it all broken down into a timeline, into a little ebook, if you will. And you can make my favorite thing to do is to make a bridal fashion plan. And it shows exactly how to do it. It's completely free. And I think because what happens is so much pressure gets put on the dress, the dress, the dress,
Mhm.
or, whatever it is you're wearing. And people, brides, your listeners, forget all the other events, all the other options, all the other things. And it can be a challenge for your budget, and it can be a challenge for your mental stability. And it's just so this fashion timeline just tells you exactly what to order when, or not, right? Like if you just say,
Yeah,
okay, we're going to skip this, then you just
yeah,
take it off the to-do list. But I think what happens when you get the regular sort of, like, let's say you go onto Google and you look up wedding timeline, or you're working with photographers such as yourself, and you
yes.
pass along a timeline, or a wedding planner will give you a timeline. It just says order dress.
That's it.
But they don't tell you that you might want to have something for your rehearsal dinner. You might need to have something, to sleep in that night so you don't sleep in your dress, which is what I did. You might want to have, something for the morning. You might want to have something for the next day, and just kind of walks you through all of that. And especially from a budgeting perspective, like, are you going to want to get a new pair of shoes? Because last I checked, sometimes shoes can be more expensive than the dress.
Yes, and
And
you wanna, like, walk in them a bit before, because I had
right,
brand new shoes on my wedding day, and I had, like,
no good.
huge blisters for my honeymoon.
Not good. So yeah, it just walks you through all of it so you can make choices, and then you can be informed. Like I said, especially from a budgeting perspective, because it can be a lot at once. And you say, okay, I'm going to buy and afford X dress. Well,
You're not taking into account the jewelry, or let's be honest, the dress fitting. That could be hundreds of dollars to
mhm,
have it be fit to your body.
yes,
I had to go through 2 of them, taking them out because I had gained weight, and then taking them in when I lost weight,
yep,
so I had to pay twice. It was ridiculous. Way more
yes,
expensive than my
yes.
budget called for.
Right. And then the gown preservation, if you decide to do
Yes,
that, and
box that
just
up.
all, engagement parties, just kind of all
Yes,
the things. So it's called the Ultimate Bridal Fashion
that's
Timeline,
awesome.
and it's completely free
I'll
because
put
why
that
not?
link, yeah, I'll put that link down below.
Okay.
And she has really cool, fun, informative emails. So when you get that
Yeah.
free
Oh, you're
guide
on my
from her,
email list.
I love your emails. When you get these emails, or when you sign up for this guide, not only do you get the guide, but then you get her advice and stuff. And she doesn't bug and she doesn't spam. So I highly
It's just
advise you
once a
get that.
month. I just do it once a
It's like,
month.
yeah, it's not like crazy. And I know that you also have videos on YouTube as well. So I'm going to put all the things down below, all of her information. I highly advise you go check her out.
Great.
And thank you so much, my friend,
Thank you
for
for
being
having me
on
on.
here.
This is great. This is such a good resource for people. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful
all
day.
right. Thank you.
Bye.